Hi, everyone. Last week we discovered that in the book of Proverbs, wisdom is personified. Wisdom is calling out to us from the public square, on the streets, by the gates of the city. And this week I wanted to follow that up with another piece, which is really about the personality, in some ways, of wisdom and our response to it. There's a verse in chapter 1 which says this. It says, speaking to us, wisdom is speaking to us. It says, "You are indifferent to my rebuke. I will now speak my mind to you and let you know my thoughts." And as we move down those verses, wisdom's thoughts are fairly harsh. Wisdom says, I've been calling out to you. I have all this information and all this wisdom to share with you, but you have left it behind. You've turned away. You have ignored me. And when you fall, I will be laughing at you, basically, is the way wisdom speaks to us. It's a very harsh way of education, I suppose you could say. Interestingly, in that verse that I first quoted, the Hebrew is tashuvu letochachti. The translation here again is, you are indifferent to my rebuke. But you could translate it differently and say that it's actually in the command form. Turn towards my rebuke, or turn because of my rebuke. That is to say, wisdom is trying to encourage us and warn us, encourage us to act properly, warn us against the pitfalls of life, the pitfalls of following after people who are not out for our own good and aren't looking out for us. And it made me think about the fact that just a few weeks ago here at Beth Ahm, we had a full-day workshop on mindfulness meditation. And one of the phrases that our teacher, Rabbi Jordan Ben-Appel, repeated to us many times is a phrase from our Siddur, Berachamim Tashuv. The idea that we should return or repent in mercy, in compassion. And he used that phrase to encourage us as people who were meditating and learning meditation to do things and act towards ourselves compassionately. You know, when you're meditating, you're focused on your breathing or focused on a particular object. But because we're human beings, we get distracted. We think about other things. We think about the grocery list. We think about who knows what. We have an option when we realize that we are off track. We can sort of get angry at ourselves and castigate ourselves for losing our focus, or we can berachamim, with compassion and compassionately, tashuv, return to that breath, return to that object of focus. Mishle here is taking a harsher tack, and sometimes we act towards ourselves the way wisdom is speaking to us. We find ourselves on the wrong path, and we get angry at ourselves. We say, why didn't you realize? Why are you doing the same thing over and over again? When will you learn? Sometimes we can be our harshest critic. Perhaps this other phrase, that we should return compassionately, we should change compassionately and act towards ourselves in a way which would encourage that change through compassionate acts and words, is perhaps a better way. We know that sometimes it is a harsh voice which actually encourages us to move. Sometimes it's a compassionate voice. And while Mishle here is really pushing us not to make bad decisions, sometimes we need a softer voice to get us back on the right track. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom. This coming week, this coming Shabbat, we'll be reading Parshat Ki Tisa. We'll continue with talk of the building of the tabernacle, as well as the very important story of the golden calf. Hope you have an opportunity to hear the Parsha read in synagogue. Shabbat Shalom.